They've been most enjoyable because I have travelled with Cunard before. I know what very high standards they've got. I've travelled on Queen Victoria before and I know what a lovely ship it is, but I haven't been on it for a while. And my wife and I decided we wanted to get some sunshine, and the good place to get it would be the Canary Islands at this time of the year. And we saw that Queen Victoria was going to be doing the trip. And we've had 14 really, really enjoyable days. I think the grills actually, because I've been on a lot of ships, but the grill situation on Queen Victoria is unique in my experience in that it's high up. You've got this circular format with the grills lounge, and it's extremely nice, the actual restaurant area. The staff have been absolutely terrific, great fun, and looked after us extremely well. And of course you could go to the lounge whenever you wanted to, and you could go up onto deck 12 and get a bit of sunshine. I think I probably enjoyed that most of all. But I also have to say, as somebody who does quite a lot of talking, that I have really enjoyed doing the talks that I did, because we had a full house in the Royal Court Theatre every time, and it's enormously heartening when you walk out onto the stage and you see that every seat is occupied, because it means that people are interested enough in you and what you're hopefully going to say to them to take the trouble to turn up. And they're on holiday, they're relaxed, and they've been most enjoyable, and a lot of them have been coming up to me and talking to me about their experiences of Formula One and motorcycle racing and the things that I'm interested in. So that's been great too. There are a lot of people. I've been absolutely amazed at the interest in the ship in the last race of Formula One at Abu Dhabi, which is going, as I talk to you, is going to decide the championship. And some people have been for Lewis Hamilton. Most people have been backing Lewis Hamilton because he's British. Some of them have been backing Nico Rosberg. But as I talk to you, the race is still to be held, and I don't know what's going to happen. Well, it's one of the fiercest rivalries I've ever seen, because I've seen a lot. The fiercest, in the correct sense of the word, was that between Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna when they both drove for McLaren in 1988 and 89, because Senna was absolutely obsessed with winning, and they were in a McLaren car which, like the Mercedes this year, was the class of the field, and nothing was going to beat the McLaren. So it was obvious that either Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna was going to be world champion, just as it's obvious that either Lewis Hamilton or Nico Rosberg is going to be world champion. And Senna was absolutely obsessed with winning and beating Alain Prost. And that was a very fierce and, to be honest, a rather unpleasant rivalry. And then there was another one between Nelson Piquet, the Brazilian, another Brazilian, and our Nigel Mansell in 1987 in particular. And there wasn't a good feeling between them either, because Nelson Piquet used to play mind games to try and unsettle Nigel Mansell. For instance, he said in public once that he thought that Nigel Mansell's wife was very ugly, which wasn't at all a kind or diplomatic thing to say. And he said it deliberately because he knew it would hurt Nigel Mansell and probably put him off driving. And in the end, Nelson Piquet won the championship. But there have been some good partnerships as well. And actually, the partnership between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, considering that all season it's been obvious that one or other of them is going to win the championship, has been very good. They've grown up together in motor racing. They've raced in karts together, and they worked their way up through the different categories together, Formula 3 and GP2, and now Formula 1. And considering that the rivalry is so great and the rewards for becoming world champion are so great, they've maintained their friendship very well. It was a bit wobbly halfway through the season, but they've got together again now, and hopefully the friendship will continue. Well, they're all very good drivers. I mean, even the man who qualifies last is only going to be about 4 seconds over a lap slower than the pole position man. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the sort of time difference between the best and the worst over a 2.5 mile lap. So there's nothing in it at all. So that's why some of them start doing everything they can to make sure that the mechanics in the team are on their side rather than their rival's side. Because if you're in a team, the first person you've got to beat is your teammate. He's the only one who's got the same equipment as you, the same car as you, the same backup as you. So if you can't beat him, you're in trouble. Well, my prediction is that it's obviously going to be very, very close. Rosberg has got an advantage because he's about a full car length in front of Lewis Hamilton, because they're in a staggered formation on the grid. And if they both get the revs right, and if they both let the clutch out on the right, Rosberg should get into the first corner first. And if he gets into the first corner first, Lewis Hamilton will then have to spend the whole of the race trying to get past him, and it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. But I just hope and pray that, for instance, Bottas, who is in the Williams, or Massa, who's in the Williams, doesn't get involved with them in front and take one of them off, because it would be a very sad ending to a wonderful season if at the first corner either Lewis Hamilton or Rosberg had been taken out, and that would decide the championship before the race was even started, never mind completed. Well, I'm not a betting man, but if you gave me a great deal of money, I would very reluctantly put it on Lewis Hamilton. And I wouldn't be reluctant as a reflection on Lewis Hamilton, who's an extremely nice man and an absolutely brilliant driver, but because it's so close. Hamilton has got to get past Rosberg. Well, he hasn't. If he finishes second, he'll still be world champion if he finished second to Rosberg. But it's going to be an incredibly close race, I hope.